Coming up this week on Kiss My Collectibles, it's Skip or Play, Hot in the Shade. Stay up to date with the show and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Become a member of our brand new Patreon and receive exclusive updates and benefits. We're here with Ed from ClickTshop.com, and he wants to tell us about an awesome giveaway he's doing. Ed, tell us about it.
Yeah, so I'm tying in a giveaway with Andrew's movie that's coming out on June 28th, Kiss at Midnight. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to do a t-shirt giveaway, sticker giveaway, and a fine art print. So you could win one of these awesome Click T-Shop t-shirts. And I have the stickers here, which are all my designs from my shop. And then is my fine art that I've actually produced myself. And if you're the winner on June 28th, we'll announce them, the winner, and place it online for everybody to see who the winner is.
So that's really cool. Everybody loves your designs, but we love them so much. How do we enter this contest? Kiss at Midnight comes out June 28th, so how can you enter this contest to be a winner on June 28th?
Yeah, it's really simple. All you have to do is go to ClickTshop.com. It's Click T-Shop with a K, and just go to the Contact Us form. And in the Contact Us form, all you have to do is fill out your name and your email and just put in Kiss at Midnight into the comments section. Hit submit, and you're already entered. That's
awesome.
how easy it is.
Awesome. So win great merchandise from Click T-Shop, and make sure you enjoy Kiss at Midnight on June 28th, coming to you on YouTube and Vimeo.
This is Kiss My Collectibles podcast, but you knew that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Collectibles. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and with me, as always, is...
Andrew Scambatti.
Joey Lilac.
Is it going to be a different name every time?
Every time.
Okay.
Every time. Joe Lalich, good to see you.
And...
Nicholas Buckland. I'm back again.
Hey,
He's
he's
back.
back.
Yeah, you
back.
saw me a few weeks ago.
Back
It's
in
not that
New
exciting.
York.
It's not that exciting anymore. So yeah,
He's back to save the show. That's good.
exactly.
He is.
We've
Shade
been,
the show. Yeah.
we've been tanking for a long time, so it's good that Nicholas is back with us. So.
I'm just glad
Well, you got
Nicholas...
the most dislikes while I was on. So I hope to better that record this time.
I'm just glad that Nicholas finally stopped being a smooth jazz radio announcer. Now he's back with us, so where he belongs.
Jazz.
All right, gentlemen. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to play this little game that, I'm just going to say it. Joe has lifted it from the wonderful Kiss FAQ. There's a lot of threads over there. I don't know if it's called Skip or Play. I think it's called it's a variation of this.
We're going to call it
Right,
Skip or
right.
Play.
We're going to call it Skip.
Yeah.
Right, and we're going to go through a particular record in the catalog. We're going to do these every now and then, just going to kind of be a feature episode, and we're going to talk about a record, and we're going to go through the track listing, and each person's going to talk about if they would skip or play whatever tracks, correct?
Correct.
But Jason,
Right.
you really do need a different T-shirt on, and if you need a good T-shirt, head on over to ClickTshop.com to purchase the Kiss My Wax and Kiss My Collectibles official T-shirt. Make sure you enter that really cool Click T-Shop contest that we talked about at the beginning of the episode, but it doesn't end there. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, join our groups on Facebook, become a member of our Patreon. This is no new information to you. Help the channel grow so we can keep showing you more cool Kiss stuff. Thank you.
That's it. Andrew's out for the night.
Just like
joke-
every other episode, he's
that
done
joke's
his
gonna-
job.
yeah.
He's good to go, Andrew. You're dismissed.
Sorry, I peaked early.
All right, but before we get into all of that, and we don't have to go down to the land down under, and
Because the land down under is
he's
here.
sitting here, yeah.
I'm just
But
here.
let's show some new stuff. So
I don't have anything, but I have
Just
stuff. It's on the way because right before we started recording last week's episode, Jason and Joe actually forced my hand to order the German double platinum reissue. So that's on its way.
It's about time. So I'll tell you what, I'll go first. Will and Nicholas go after that, and then Joe can go last. Because I just have a couple of quick things. So Andrew showed these last week. So I'm just going to show them again. But I got my copy of the German Best of the Solo Albums in. And these are very, very beautiful. I know he showed, but I'm going to show it again.
Show it again. It's super heavy too. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, heavyweight. It's some of the coolest vinyl.
I love that effect. Yeah, it's the Rush, the debut explosion kind of thing of the back. Yeah, in the background of that album.
Nicholas hates
it
vinyl.
Really cool.
He's like, get on with it.
No, I like it. I like it. No, I was just thinking that I wish they hadn't chosen that. Obviously, that's the German cover, but my favorite cover is I think it might be the Australian one with that kind of the best of in the running riding with the four faces.
I love that too.
Is that the Australian one, or is that? You guys.
It is the Australian one.
But I really like. That's my favorite of all those. Because there's so many covers with those. That's my favorite. I'm not the bigger fan of the red one, but although that vinyl itself, those vinyls look amazing. That splatter kind of thing.
What's interesting about that one is the reason why it spoke out to me.
I'm talking about if I bought 2 copies, then it would be vinyls, wouldn't you? No, surely not.
No. What was interesting about this reissue to me and why I purchased it so quickly, because I'm not like you guys. I didn't purchase all the recent reissues. But I had the original version as a kid, and I got it at like a flea market for a couple $. There was like a couple of like little pieces of damage on the cover, but I just remember having that as a kid. So for me, it was like, oh, now I could have a nice copy as an adult. So easy buy for me.
Right. I was going to go there and say this, basically the same thing is, when I first discovered Best of the Solos, it was in a record store in the mid 80s, and so that was the only version I ever knew existed up until I, got much older and really started collecting. I didn't know there was an Australian alternate. There was a French alternate, all of that stuff. And so this record really kind of holds a special place in my heart because it was different than all the other catalog stuff. Because you're like, where in the world did this come from? And then you're like, what is that logo? Why does that logo look like
where
that? And
in the world is the Best of the Solo
Best
albums.
of the Solos.
Yeah, it's literally one of those import records that somehow crept over into the States. That and Killers was, those were the two that seemed to be around all the time in that sort of permutation of it, that variation.
And it got strange release dates too.
What's that?
They've got strange different release dates. Like some are 79. Was it 79, 80, and 81? Don't they? I think they stagger across a few years. Maybe not 79, but it's definitely 80 and 81. I think the Aussie one's not till 81. That may have even come out post Elder or even just before it. I'm not too sure.
What's the most interesting about these is these come from a time when there was no playlists. Like I can't just drag and drop a playlist. Like if you wanted a mix, you had to either know someone with a cassette player because at this time cassettes weren't huge. Cassettes were much bigger in the 80s, but at the time if you wanted a compilation you had to buy the compilation.
So all right, and then the other thing I got was the UK version from Sound of Vinyl of the first album, 45th anniversary, and this is actually advertised on their website as like a smoky color, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see. It almost looks metallic there.
It looks how cool would it be if double platinum was like that?
Yeah, but it looks
silver. I like it. You said that's UK. That's UK.
This is UK Sound of Vinyl.
I kind of want that now.
45th.
How's that different from the normal one?
What normal?
How's it different from the new one that's just been released? The other 45.
The US version was supposed to be a black and white kind of
that's that one with
splatter.
The splotch.
Right, and it came out with white with black splotches or sometimes just all white. So so that was disappointing for everyone because of the quality control. But this one was advertised as like smoky translucent or something like that, and it actually is that and looks very, very nice.
Can you send me a link to that after we're done?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no problem. So that's all I've got for new stuff. What do you got, Nicholas?
There's a couple of recent things that I got. The one that I found recently, this was only $2, and I found this in a, I don't know how, I'll kind of sit back so you can see it. This is in an old record store going out of business, and it's this unmasked poster It's very ripped, so it's not in good quality.
Is it?
Try
Is
not
it
to rip
not?
it more.
Is it not folded?
No, it's not folded, but I think it's because it says here, copyright 1980 Casablanca record and film works. So there's no or coin on it. So it's obviously a promotional in-store poster. I don't know. It's definitely not fake, but it definitely doesn't have any or coin stuff. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's damaged.
Cool.
That's why it's $2. It's really badly damaged.
Yeah, but you could dry mount that to save it.
Yeah, I think I could. I've tried dry mounting a few things in here, but my wife doesn't like it anymore.
Let's go dry mount on the Kiss bed.
I mean, nothing gets me going than seeing a Kiss room while I'm doing the laundry.
Mackerel.
Nothing.
Yeah, and nothing makes her want to dry mount me less than wearing this 1978 disco shirt. I don't know if I've shown this before, but this is I think I've shown a few photos on the page, but this was a great one. This was one that Sarah got me for our 10-year wedding anniversary, so I hadn't shown it on the show, but it's very shiny, very disco-y, and this is really cool.
So she got that for you for your anniversary. Now,
for my 10-year wedding anniversary.
I have to ask, how did she find that? I mean, was that something you told her about, or did she just know?
I may have pointed her in the direction.
Okay, all right.
I've always wanted, yeah.
She has his eBay password, so when she sees his watched items, she goes, "What's the least piece of shit that I can get?"
Exactly. She said she was going to get me double platinum, but could only find this shitty white cover with red logo. So she smashed that into 1,000 pieces, burnt it, and then got that instead. So that's the true story.
What
happened to the silver?
Yeah. That unmasked poster is intriguing. I mean, do we really know what that is?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is I don't remember what show it was on, but Victor Stabin, the artist that actually drew that, he said he had stacks of unfolded posters. Now, I don't know if these unfolded posters were just ones that never made it into the vinyl, but there was for a long while, he was selling these on his website. And he was bringing them to conventions. There's even a show, and it might have been 3 Sides, where he said that he ate lunch on a couple of them and got like lettuce and threw it out. And he was using them as like wrapping paper for people's gifts one year. So go back and listen to that episode that he was on. But he was selling those posters, and they were original ones from back in the day. So
what's weird is what is really, really cool at this size, because this is obviously the poster from inside the album, because Peter's winking, as you can see.
Yes,
but what is absolutely amazing about this is you can really see the canvas. Like you actually see all the paint and all the canvas marks of the brush going on the canvas. It's got that dimpled effect that when I first looked at it, it looked like pixelation. And then when I looked in close to it, it's actually the canvas. He painted it on the textured canvas. So it's really nice. That's
got to be what it is. It's got to be from Victor Stabin. It's got to be.
It's very, but it says 1980, copyright 1980. It's got the number at the top, Casablanca record and film work. So it is legit. But yeah, it's the quality of it doesn't look pin sharp because it's a painting, and obviously this has been blown up.
How does it smell? Seriously.
Yeah.
Does it smell?
Does it have that?
It's the best show I've ever been on. Yeah. That smells like.
That's what Nicholas does off camera all the time. Just goes into his Kiss room and just
smells it.
Just smells stuff.
Does it smell vintage, or does it smell?
Yeah, no, it's definitely old vintage yet. It's definitely not new of any sort. This is a record company. You've probably may have heard them through your dealings, called Red Eye Records, sure. and they've got one store left. But at one point, at the height of their thing, they had one store and 2 secondhand stores, and both secondhand stores went out of business. So yeah, that's where I got it from.
So here's something interesting, because as we were talking, I thought, well, maybe this is just a poster that's on the unmasked order form. That poster is not on the unmasked order form.
No, we are aware.
There is well, maybe the listeners aren't. So there is a T-shirt. Yeah. There's a T-shirt with that exact artwork with Peter winking. So there is a T-shirt of that, and then there is a 24 by 24 unmasked, the actual whole album cover poster.
Yeah, which I don't think anyone's ever been able to produce. Is that correct? Has anyone ever been able to?
Yeah. And everyone who says that they ordered it either didn't receive anything or received the fantasy poster.
Right.
That's
Wow.
research we've got with the book as well. That no one, a few people bought it, but it never turned up. They got the wrong poster.
That's why I was, asking more questions about that poster, because to me, I didn't want to just blow past that, because to me, it's an anomaly. It's very odd. So
this is really cool. I'll show you this one. It's obviously not. It's just like would have been sold outside venues, so bootleg kind of. It's a British one, and they've kind of redone the artwork. And I don't know if you can see it, but Peter's got the world's longest neck.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can see it on there.
But they've done a really good job, except for that part. But it's a cool T-shirt.
It's from all the cocaine he did. His neck really extended when he was doing all that cocaine.
Extended out. So, yeah, that's what this was also for as well.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of stuff you can do cocaine on, Joe, you're up next.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so
I like this cocaine themed episode. I didn't know I'd bring this kind of debauchery back to the show.
Next week, meth. Kiss my meth.
No, next week is bath salts, because we're all doing the show from Florida, so we're all gonna do bath salts as we're on the show. Back
to Florida again. So this is a friend of mine hit me up. He was at a flea market kind of antique shop. Hold on. I think I might have shown you off here.
You have friends?
What?
You have friends?
What?
You have friends?
Unlike you, I do. Many.
Oh,
yes.
Man.
Oh.
Clutch.
No one's insulting Joe on a daily basis.
That's right. So there's a small county paper here called the Oakland Press. This is from Saturday, January 21st, 1978. My friend hit me up and said, "Hey, there's a newspaper at the flea market. Do you want it?"
That's so cool.
That is incredible, Joe.
Yeah, awesome.
Good time.
I will take it. So here's what's crazy. So it seems like it's the entertainment section, right? The headline says, if I can get it unfolded here, it says Kiss accents the visual over audio. And then check this out. It's the whole front cover of the newspaper with just a killer shot there at the bottom.
Wow.
So
would that have been from the Pontiac, Michigan show?
No, I don't think 78. I don't think so. I think the date of the newspaper is the 21st. So I'm assuming
January 21st.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, where would that have been? Maybe Olympia. I don't know. At that point,
I'm gonna look up right now. So,
a very cool piece of history there that's sort of surfaced.
You are correct. You are correct, Joe. They played Olympia Stadium in Detroit, January 20th and 21st, 1978.
Excellent.
And and I forgot, because they were supposed to play Pontiac, or they had a date announced for Pontiac on the Dynasty Tour that never happened.
Yeah, because I don't think the Silverdome was open yet. Olympia was the old hockey arena in Detroit that was then torn down, and then Joe Louis Arena and Cobo Hall, I think at that same time, were sort of developed, I believe, if I have my Detroit history correct.
And there is a picture of the ticket stub from that very
nice.
show.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Nice.
So, and then the other thing we want to show real quick is Nicholas and I have been working on the hottest brand in the land. I don't know if anybody's heard. Has anybody heard about that, Nicholas?
No, continue. Please tell.
I really should get to promoting that thing.
Tell
me more.
So,
tell me more.
What's cool. We got the printer's proofs in on the Ultra Deluxe and Deluxe cover, and it's just, you guys, it's crazy. It's this real mirrored kind of foil. That's even amazing. Cooler in person. I opened the box up the other day from the printer, and I was just like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!"
Man, I should have ordered that.
Yeah, so Nicholas should have as well, right?
Yeah, I got one at the last minute.
So Nicholas, you want to talk about the book update just real quick, and we can go from there?
There's not too much to say other than it's ready to go. It's at the printers. We've had a bit of a wild ride over the last few days. And as you can, I was blown away by that cover myself when you showed it to me. So I'm super excited. Fly out to LA, just organising the times for Gene and Paul to sign the book, which is very exciting. So it looks like the first week of August, and then Joe and myself will probably personally ship out the autographed versions from LA, whereas the rest will ship from the shipping house. But yeah, it's full steam ahead, and the book is real, and it's spectacular, as they say.
It's I'm so excited for you, and I'm proud to call you a friend, and very, 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 very excited for both of you for doing this. I can't wait to sit and read it and really, really enjoy it. So hats off. The hat that I don't wear to you guys.
That's right. The last thing we want to say is thanks for the support. The Ultra Deluxe sold out super quickly. Deluxe not long after that, right? It was like a couple of weeks, I think, right? We blew through that one as well.
Yeah.
And so the standard edition is still on sale. So go out and grab it.
hottestbrandbook.com.
That's right.
All right. So, is it time for skip or play?
It's time
It
for
is time for
skip
or
Strip or play.
Y'all sound excited, man. Skip or play.
Skip. Nobody really wants to do this. This is my idea, and everybody tried to kibosh it, and I tried to.
He kept pushing in the. Yeah. I still think we should do skip or play, but you know what? I think once we get into it, it'll probably be fun because there's going to be a lot of.
Not if you're involved, Jason.
Yeah,
it's not going to be fun.
Listen, so if we're going to talk about Skip or Play, Hot in the Shade, so I think we should talk about a little bit of the history of the Hot in the Shade album. So I'm sorry I got to read from this, but I am blind. Can't read from the monitor. So this album was produced by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and recorded at the Fortress in Hollywood, California by Pat Regan and Mikey Davis, July to August 1989. It was mixed by Dave Whitman at Cherokee Studios in Los Angeles, California in August of 89. As you guys know, this album was basically just a collection of cleaned up demos and stuff that was maybe added. There's some drum machines on there. We're not really sure who the exact personnel is on the record. There's a guy I know here, Tom Yamato. He said he did some demo work for that and says that some of the demo work actually ended up on the record. Eric Singer also said he played on some demos. Eric Carr played on some demos. So I mean, it's a muddled album. We don't really know who played on what or what actually happened. Me just looking at the history of the band, they didn't spend a whole lot of time and money on this record because they spent a whole lot of time and money on Crazy Nights, and it never really came to full fruition like they wanted it to. So they were kind of licking their wounds at this point. They still wanted to produce, new material because remember at the time, for a band to go out on the road, they needed an album to support. So they were putting something out, and this is, although the album may have seemed like a misfire, and we'll obviously talk about that here in a minute, the tour was absolutely incredible and an absolute return to form for the band. It was their biggest stage show in over 10 years, and they were paying respect to this classic material. They were playing stuff they had either never played before or hadn't played in years, and you could tell that the band was definitely reinvigorated on stage. So this is one of those tours that I'm sad that I missed.
You can see that on Kissology 2. Like just watching the change from the Crazy Nights tour to the Hot in the Shade, just the footage of it, I was just going, wow, they really, it's not just the first song where they run out and do it for the press. They seem very excited and very alive, like compared to that. I almost felt they always looked bored on the Crazy Nights tour, but this one, they seemed really invigorated.
Now, Jason, do you know, did the Palace of Auburn Hills, did they have an in-house video crew?
I would assume so.
I would assume so too.
I was at that show, and I remember that they for sure had it up on the video board because the arena at that time was very new. And I remember, at that time, I was like, wow, these screens are huge, and they were showing it on the sort of middle display in the arena. Now, so for sure there was an in-house crew because I think then at subsequent shows, then you would see that kind of video for every band that you saw at the Palace. So that would be my assumption anyway, Jason, unless you know differently.
No. I was just going to, this album gets panned a lot as, kind of a misstep. That being said, it contained one of the biggest hits the band ever had.
For sure.
I mean.
Yeah, but does one hit determine the longevity or the importance of a record? I don't think so.
No, but to me, it was a springboard for the band, though, because that song was played over and over and over on radio and on MTV. I think it was like the beginning of Total Request Live, I think, around that time, if I'm correct.
Dial MTV?
It might have been Dial MTV or whatever the permutation of that show was. But, man, you turned on MTV and that song was on.
Couldn't get away from it.
Yeah. And to me, it was a huge springboard. In some ways, it could have saved the band during this period because that song was such a massive hit. If there wouldn't have been anything else on that record, you really wonder what would have happened.
I think that's exactly what I wanted to touch on, Joe, is that song was so big, and and everybody always talks about the tour attendance from Crazy Nights to Hot in the Shade, and
wasn't really that much of an influx.
People want to attribute that to well, the stage show was better and bigger, and the the list of songs that they played was so much broader and all that stuff, and that must be why people were coming. Now, I think people were coming to the show because there were more people hearing about the band with Forever.
Sure, for sure.
So it seemed to be it was the first time that they were acknowledging their past to it. It felt like, although I suppose seeing Paul wear that the Star Child singlet top a lot on some of the things, it was almost like that nod back to, hey, we're the same band. And I know Gene had that was the demon bass used on the Crazy Nights one as well.
I think this started.
Yeah, but it seems like that's what they were doing.
I think this.
Well, they also had.
I think the seeds for this were planted at the tail end of the Crazy Nights tour, because once they had gone over to Europe and played those Monsters of Rock festivals, they were playing songs like Deuce that they hadn't played since 1976 proper. So I think that the seeds for this were planted really, really long before. And I don't mean to cut you off, Joe, but I want to mention one point, because you're talking about Forever and it saved the band and all this stuff. And I do want to agree with all of you guys on this one, because the album was released in October of 1989. And typically the way that normal promotion would go is the album would come out and the tour would start a couple weeks, maybe a month later. But the album came out in October. The tour for this one didn't start until May of 1990. So you had a full 6 months of this record out, because, when the first single came out, it tanked. There was going to be no tour because there was no support, but Forever really invigorated the band, and they were basically able to tour based on the success of Forever.
Yeah, that's why
it was a little different for us. Oh, there you go.
No, yeah, go ahead, Nicholas.
No, we didn't. I didn't see Forever until the what was the thing, Extreme Close Up. That it was part of that kind of thing. Here, it was Rise to It because of the makeup being used in that video. That was the thing that was promoted. Probably a bit more hard rock for Australia. Rise to It was played a lot here. I don't even remember Forever in the 90s. I remember it as part of the Extreme Close-Up. It didn't really hit here.
Well, that was the point. That was the point I was going to make about going back to the makeup and starting, them going back and starting to embrace their past. With them putting the makeup on, I remember the fervor around that and how excited the fans were. Like, oh my gosh, they put, they were putting the makeup back on. If you remember the video, they were backstage and they're talking to each other and. Gene saying, take the makeup off, you're crazy, and Paul saying, I think we could, and it's sort of like a nod to the past and as well as looking forward. So it was a real interesting period in the band. It's funny that the album is so panned, but everybody goes, man, that tour just lit the fuse for the band for the next couple of years while they were getting ready to do the reunion thing for sure.
Let's talk about those 3 singles really quickly first before we start talking about this Skip or Play thing, because Hide Your Heart was released first, but let's also remember too that Ace Frehley also released a version of Hide Your Heart, as did Molly Hatchet, as did Bonnie Raitt. I mean, this was a song that was shopped around. Bonnie Tyler, I'm sorry, you're right. This was a song that was shopped around and played on Paul Stanley's solo tour. So Hide Your Heart was released first. Rise to It was supposed to be the second single, but was held in place of Forever. So Rise to It was shot before Forever, but ended up released after Forever, because when Hide Your Heart basically tanked, they didn't think that they were going to, they thought that was it. They thought this album was done. But then they released Forever, and then here we are today. Right.
And then you get this huge tour, and that's why I don't like to necessarily say, Hot in the Shade was a misstep. It's an abnormally lengthy record that probably has more filler on it than any other album in the catalog. But it does have a couple of really strong songs on it, and one that propelled the band back into the public eye. So,
but if you think about those. If you think about those records that came out at the time, Mr. Big with To Be With You, Extreme with More Than Words, having that big ballad song is something that they needed. They didn't really have it. They didn't hit that big with Reason to Live on the previous one, but you could tell they were placing that on there as, okay, here's the hard rock acoustic one. They were all around that time, weren't they?
It's so funny that you mentioned, Mr. Big and Extreme, because their biggest hits sound nothing like their catalog. Extreme was a hard rock band, and
with horns,
funk band.
Yeah, and then you have this little frilly little acoustic single that they they basically propelled to. I mean, I really love Extreme a lot. I really like Nuno Betancourt as a guitar player, and I like Gary Cherone as a vocalist. I mean, I still like the Gary Cherone Van Halen record just because I like Gary Cherone so much.
I saw that live.
Yeah, but
Andrew, for you, we're gonna cut that out because holy cow, that Gary Cherone Van Halen record is rough.
Listen,
rough.
That's a whole different show. But
I loved Without You, the
yes,
single.
Without You is a good song.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's such a great song.
But the rest of that record is...
Hey, you know what?
you
Listen,
can clearly tell, Eddie Van Halen is like, I'm going to write everything, including the lyrics on this album, and it's not very good.
I think he played bass on it as well too.
Yeah, I think Michael
touch
Anthony played 2 or 3 songs, and that was it.
Yeah.
Poor Michael Anthony. Love
So I
that
think
guy.
the big question we all have today is: did Michael Bolton save Kiss?
Oh, come on.
It's a good question.
It is a good question.
Right, because he has the co-write on Forever. So
Of course he
if
does.
we're saying that Forever is the song that saved the band at that time, forget Vinnie Vincent. How about Michael Bolton?
well, here's the question: Why by the next record do they reject that? Remember that by Revenge they were out there saying we don't want any co-writers. We kicked Desmond Child in the ass. We kicked him out of the studio. We don't want anything to do with him. We don't want any co-writers. Yet just the album before that had a huge hit with a co-writer. I found that very strange.
And they
And here
co-wrote
comes
with Vinnie
Vinnie
Vincent.
Vincent co-writing.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think
No,
what
but
they meant is we don't
that
need
was sort
any
of
bad
doing the
co-writers.
anti-Hot in the Shade sort of thing.
Hey, so
Yeah.
let's talk about some promotional material for Hot in the Shade. The first thing that's on deck, and I don't know the proper order on these, so forgive me on that, but the first thing on deck is this great First Kiss, Last Licks. This is kind of where you get your first little taste of Hot in the Shade. You get Love's a Slap in the Face, Betrayed, Prisoner of Love, and The Streets Giveth and The Street Taketh Away.
How odd that those songs are selected for a promotional album sent to radio.
Well, and it's odd because this is
Mind-boggling.
This is Mark 1990, and obviously Hot in the Shade came out 1989. So why those songs? Those are, I love Betrayed, and when they played Betrayed, they played Betrayed at in Reseda. Those 2 little warm shows, the one in Reseda and the one at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park. But there's also other cool tracks on here. The first time that they had U.S. release of these tracks, Nowhere to Run, of Partners in Crime. I know Partners in Crime is a remix, but these were tracks that were on Killers, which is at the time was a non-U.S. compilation. It is a U.S. compilation now.
I've always, this is way off left field here. Those songs are called remixes, but if you look, like Partners in Crime is called a remix, right?
It's just Partners in Crime.
It's not called a remix?
Is that the one on the box set, isn't it? It's the same one on the box set?
That is a completely different drum pattern than what is on the original song. It's not a remix. It has to be either a different take or someone went in and recut the drums or something. It's a completely different drum take.
Maybe they just said it, they didn't want to put on the album completely different drum take with different, like remix just sounds a lot better. Yeah.
So, and then there's also.
And does that have the smudge inside?
I was just gonna get to that. I want to talk about these last 2 tracks first. Deuce and Strutter, that were the Eddie Kramer demos. That these ended up on the box set, but this was the first time that they actually saw proper. So I love this. I always kind of wanted this. I found this at a record store close to here. Was really glad to put this in my collection. And yes, the smudge is inside. You probably can't see it.
I think the smudges are on all of them.
Yeah, well, that's how you know that this one is not a boot.
That's the rumor.
Yeah, the rumor.
No one has ever produced a counterfeit version of that we've ever seen.
I was actually at the printing of them at the factory. I was eating licorice at the time and handling them back onto the truck, and now it's a rarity for some reason. It's like stupid licorice.
Allegedly.
You gotta laugh for a second, because how many things like that happened, and then us as collectors are like, oh my god, like somebody in the factory.
Black smudge version.
Yeah, everybody's scrambling to Wikipedia now. Nicholas Buckland was eating licorice during the thing of. Oh my god.
That's how rumors get started.
I'm changing myself,
Right.
So, Jason, you got a promotional item too for Hot in the Shade?
I do. I've got this this cool paperweight that was focus. It's a cool paperweight that was handed out to record executives and anybody, I guess, that they wanted to promote. But it's this pyramid And it does come. It come in a box. You can find some of the bigger collectors than me that has the box that this came in. I think it's got a sticker on the top of it that may say. Do you remember, Nicholas? Maybe it says "Kiss Forever" on it or something like that.
It does. There isn't a single one on eBay.
Oh no, yeah, you're not.
I've never seen it actually held next to a hand before, and it's actually quite smaller than what I thought. Of course, your hand bigger than everyone else.
Jason's a giant.
I have giant hands,
but just remember, this is a proctologist. This is a proctologist version. This can go right up, you know.
Yeah,
just like
partner-shaped butt.
Yeah. Oh gosh, edit that out. Holy cow!
When they take your temperature, you know it is hot. So if you do think it is hot,
in the shade. Speaking of crappy stuff, let's get on to skip or play.
Skip or play.
Yeah.
Skip or
edit him out.
Look at this. So this is cool. I didn't even realize I had this. So I got the original, the record, but look at what I also got. I got a promotional flat.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I've got that one. Yeah.
15 new tracks.
Pretty cool.
So hey, I like this as an album cover. This is kind of cool. Eric Carr's like, what do you mean I get no songs on this record?
He did get a song on that record.
No, I know. I don't know what you know. I never know what actually happened, but there's that Eric Carr Rockology CD that came out. What did it come out? 2001, 2002,
something like that.
Some of those songs on there, like "Eyes of Love," "Somebody's Waiting," "Nightmare." I think songs like that, if they had been given the Kiss feel, they would have been awesome on this record.
Yeah, I really love that "Eyes of Love" song. I think that's a really great song.
Me too. So, I love that song. Okay, so let's. This is my original issue from 1989. And Jason, is this the last issued Kiss vinyl that was issued at the time of release in the U.S.?
Yes, from the actual record label at the time, because when you get into Revenge and Alive 3, those were done by a separate company, H&H Marketing. Wasn't done directly by Mercury.
And it was done after the release, right?
Yes, that is correct. So yeah, that is the last issued U.S. vinyl. That's correct.
Okay. I was thinking to myself, I think is
that similar to most?
Go ahead, Nicholas. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, would they at the company have been stopping making vinyl for every group around that time?
Yes.
Or is it just a Kiss thing?
Yeah, you can. There's a few that straggle out into 1990, and then of course you have the record clubs that were still, like BMG and Columbia House, that were still releasing vinyl, certainly up into 92 probably. But by 1992, 93, pretty much every record label had shut down their pressing plants, and there were very, very few companies out there pressing vinyl still. You just couldn't find it. So a lot of 12-inch singles were still being pressed at that time, because that's what my company was doing that I worked for. We transitioned from pressing full-length albums to 12-inch for Europe and Japan.
I'm still pressing 12 inches.
So So that was the big thing in the 90s was 12-inch singles. Yeah, we are way off the rails here.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah, but
I think this is the first Kiss record I bought on CD. I think
it was for me too.
It was Revenge.
Yeah, it was for me, and it was cool because it has the.
Yeah, I should have brought down my CD. I still have the CD.
The painted, CD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
It had the little stamp on it, if I remember correctly. The CD.
Think so.
It was black
because the sunglasses were mirrored, weren't they? Because the sunglasses weren't filled in, so it allowed it to. That was really cool.
Orange. It was orange.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, very cool.
So
skip or play. How does this work, Joe? Let Joe talk about it. It was his idea.
So look, admittedly, I saw this over on the FAQ. I thought it was a great idea. We have to give credit where credit's due, but of course, I don't know the names of there were two different people on the FAQ who sort of talked about these records this way. But the idea is we're going to cover each song and then say, do we skip it when we're listening to this record, or do we play it? And what do we think? So let's take the first one first, Rise to It. What do we think? See, this is going to be tough to play with Jason, because Jason's going to go, I love that song. And we could just put that in every single time.
Full disclosure, Joe is right. I've said it since the beginning of this podcast, almost 4 years ago now, I don't skip hardly anything. I love almost everything on every record with the exception of like 3 songs. So it's going to be tough for me.
Skip it because I don't play it.
So listen, Jason, I don't want you to participate unless you're going to actually skip it.
I don't skip it because I don't play it.
So we've got Jason saying, I love it all. Nicholas goes, I've never heard the record.
No.
So it's a conversation between Andrew and I. And we're very...
No, I love Rise to It. It's great. It's a great song, great video. Like I like even just the performance part. Like they look like they're having such fun, whether it's faked or not. But I mean, it's great. It's like a bit of camaraderie, you know, like leaning back on each other. There's a real energy to it.
Hold on, do that
like
move again? Do that move again?
Yeah.
The slide guitar intro is terrible.
No, I like
You
it.
think?
It's terrible.
Very Cinderella-esque.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
but it's so poorly
Exactly,
played.
terrible.
It's no, I like Cinderella. That's an actual blues rock band.
I love that band.
This was starting to mine some of that material of the time. Again, I think it's a little nod to Kiss, kind of looking around and going, oh, there's some other bands who are using slide guitars in their stuff and being bluesy. And so here's what we'll do. We'll put a couple of bars of that up front as well.
Even John Bon Jovi as well. Yeah, that kind of sound. Young Guns. Sure. That whole thing was big around that time too.
Right.
Just I think it was awfully played. It sounds terrible to me to start the record. But the song is okay, so I'll say play on that one.
I'll say play on Rise to It.
Of course you are. I'm going to say play on it too, and I'm going to explain myself just a little bit on this one. I say play on this one. This has been one of my favorite songs from as a kid, because when I was a kid, I knew when this record came out, I didn't know it was the new Kiss, but I remember watching the Rise to It video and seeing them put
you
on
were
the makeup
3?
again. It's 5, ass.
5.
But what is interesting about this is there is a rehearsal video from the rehearsals at Lubbock, Texas, when they were getting ready to do the tour. And,
it's excellent.
And Rise to It was going to be the original opener of the show. And I thought that would have been awesome. New song, new single. I guess if the single had done better, they probably would have opened up with that. But yeah, great song. Play for me all day.
Could you imagine if the internet had been around at that time and we had come off the Crazy Nights tour and we had, all of our different boards and stuff that people are talking on, and that Lubbock, Texas show kicks off, and you've got this massive Sphinx that they come out of the mouth, and there's the lasers, and people would have lost their minds online and said, this is the coolest thing. Actually, they probably would have said, that sucks. This is terrible. It's awful. Why do they have a Sphinx? This makes no sense. It would have been this whole.
That's exactly what it would have been.
That's what would have happened.
That's not true,
but now,
because remember what people were saying after Vancouver. People were like, "This is an awesome stage show, Kiss and parallelograms or whatever." I mean, that was, I think they would have liked it.
There were quite a few people who came out and said, "This is the same old, same old."
Yep.
They can stay home, and they probably have.
Skip or play, Nicholas?
On Rise to It? Absolutely love Rise to It. Yeah, I love it. It rocks. It's cool. And even the sort of the weird sort of forced bits at the start and the end of the video, I like it. Yeah, it's something I like a lot about it. Yeah.
All right, so we have 4 plays on Rise to It.
Yeah.
Unanimous place. On to Betrayed. Gene's first song on the record.
Who co-wrote this?
Tommy Thayer.
You are correct.
I know I am. Yep. So.
And Tommy Thayer didn't help the song.
So you're not a Betrayed fan?
No.
Wow.
It's like he's writing the minimum amount of words. Betrayed. It's like, I'm only writing one word for this chorus. I stretch it out for the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, I can see where this is going. So, Joe, you're a skip?
I'm a skip.
I'm definitely skip.
I'm a play.
I'm a play. I love this song.
I love Betrayed.
I love this song. When that slide starts, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Gene is back. Gene is back.
Pay your taxes and you pay your rent.
Yeah, no more.
Till you haven't got a cent.
No more of this thief in the night bullshit. No more of Gene. No, Gene was, he's back.
Thief in the Night is a way better song than Betrayed.
You are a high.
I'm a high. You are a high.
I do love Thief in the Night, so.
Of course you do. Doesn't matter.
I love that song.
I love it. Hey man, I tried to convince you not to play this game because because of this.
We're looking for a nuanced conversation about this, Jason. It's okay to like things, but still have levels of like and dislike.
Okay. All right.
So
I do have levels. It's just none of them go to, I think that song sucks and I don't want to listen to it.
But you could certainly say, I think this song is better than this song than another song on Hot. But you haven't said that yet.
I think Rise to It is better than. I think Rise to It's better than Trade.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right. Next up.
Hide Your Heart.
Hide Your Heart. I like the Ace version better. I like the laid back Ace vocals on it. It's really cool. And I've always wanted someone to do a mega mix where you can grab Ace's vocals and his guitar solo and put it into the Kiss version and almost pretend there was a mini reunion tour of the 80. Somebody do that for me.
Okay, you're fired because the Ace version sucks.
It's awesome.
Oh my God.
And the guitar solo is so much better.
Oh my God.
Because it just feels like classic Kiss.
Oh my God.
I love that classic Kiss sound, and it's just
we play Spotify.
Yeah,
We play Spotify at my office pretty much on constant rotation. And when the rock station goes on Fridays, for some reason they don't play the Kiss version. They just play the Ace version, and I want to claw my eyes out. I want to stab my ears. I want to just hang. I told my boss this song plays
it's not
again.
That bad.
I told my boss if he plays this song again, I'm hanging myself in his office. It's terrible.
Please play it again.
It's awful.
A promise.
It's awful.
Is that a promise?
It's awful. But the Kiss version, love it. Absolutely love it. The video is awesome. I've always loved the song. So this is a play for me.
So far, since, even though I'm getting the shit, Andrew loves the first 3 songs on Hot in the Shade. Just want to point that out.
Just wait.
As much as Andrew talks about how he hates this record, we're out of the gate with 3 songs that Andrew's going to play. So,
that's right.
And Jason, obviously, you're a play on Hide
Who
Your Heart.
doesn't play Hide Your Heart? Come on, seriously.
Listen.
I'll play it, but I prefer Ace.
Everyone loves someone at the beginning of the relationship, and then they get to know them and they hate them. So I just want to let you know that this is my beginning of the. So I'm loving this right now, but just wait.
Yeah, I gotta say, Hide Your Heart's okay for me. It's kind of a trudging kind of song for me. It's all right.
Do you find those kind of lyrics where it's where they're kind of talking about other people like Tito and
Johnny and Rosa?
I don't know, that Johnny and Rosa and Tito, and it just feels like.
Well, it's clearly.
And every time it says Tito, I just think of the Jackson 5. So my mind just suddenly goes.
I never thought about Tito from the Jackson.
Hell's Tito?
That would be a great video to make, where the spotlight goes on Tito Jackson.
It's like Massive Afro. Every time I listen to it, all I think of is Tito Jackson.
Well, I think it's clearly a Bon Jovi nod. Living on a Prayer.
Yeah.
That kind of
hand against all odds. Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Oh boy, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Prisoner of Love.
Joe hates this album. I can already tell. He hates every song on it.
Jason?
If I'm gonna skip any songs on Hot in the Shade, this is gonna be the first one.
Yeah,
Nicholas?
If I don't remember it, I obviously didn't enjoy it. I can't remember it at all.
All right, so I'm skipping this one.
Zero impression.
I'm skipping this one because just the little bell and the ride cymbal is just the most annoying thing on the entire. During that guitar solo, and he's like riding on a bell, which is clearly a synthesized bell. That's not an actual ride cymbal bell. It's just it pierces my ear, and I can't listen to it. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Skip.
No love for Prisoner of Love.
No. Talking about no love. Read My Body.
No thanks.
No.
Oh, sorry. It's a song.
No. We're skipping this one. This one sucks.
All right, let's hear Jason's treatise on why Read My Body is a good song. Go, Jason.
Do you want to know what I'm thinking about? Do you wonder? Do I want? No. I would skip it. Yeah. I would skip.
We're even making Jason
the drum machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're even,
It's absolutely a drum machine.
Yeah, there's no drummer on this one.
No drummer on that for sure.
Awful.
And it's pour some sugar on me, isn't it?
Number 6. This song is a slap in the face.
I was just gonna say.
Loves a slap in the face. What are we doing with this one?
Fucking skipping it.
I have to read it and remember how it goes. Love is like a slap in the face. It doesn't matter back in here too.
Let's read these lyrics.
As Nicholas would
Please
say,
don't read the lyrics.
we're gonna throw this one in the bin. We're binning this one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, this is the song because I get some of the songs on this one mixed up because there's so much shit on here. But this is the one where it's got the na na nas. So any song that has a na na na, automatic skip.
You think?
Like Hey Jude.
Exactly.
No, that's okay.
Exactly.
The Paul McCartney can do no wrong.
Yeah. You right. Of course he can.
He's
but
got great nanas.
you need to watch the blanket statements like that. So.
All right. Any song, any Kiss song with the words na 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 in it, skip.
Who wrote this one? Gene.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
No one asked me if I'm playing it or skipping it.
Because we don't care.
Jason, are you playing or skipping?
I love this song. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm gonna play it.
Of course you are.
I'm gonna play it.
Holy cow!
I didn't say I loved it, but I'm gonna play it.
Okay, that one took the breath right out of me.
This
That
episode is
response.
like a slap in the face.
Our friendship is now over. We can't ever talk on the same level ever again.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, so just as this record, I think most of us, except for Jason, are about to take it off either the playlist or the CD player or the turntable or whatever it is, we get Forever.
It's an absolute play. I don't think you'd silly if you say you skip it.
Bruce Kulick's best guitar solo.
I was going to. I think in Kiss history, it's one of the best guitar solos of that era. I think it's one of the guitar solos, one of the best guitar solos. Period. It's absolutely beautiful, beautifully done.
It's absolutely perfectly played.
It is, and it's not all the noodling. It's very melodic, super thoughtful.
Yeah, there's
it's
no
great.
there's no wanging on this guitar. I think this song really benefits on Kiss Alive 3. You could say what you want about Kiss Alive 3, about if it's actually live or whatever, but
It's
I think
not.
this I know it's not, but I mean I think the song really benefits in a live setting. And it's one of those songs where I was just very disappointed that I never got to see the band play it live properly.
Mm.
And I think Paul played with the note structure in the song live as well. And I think there were some different harmonies, if I remember correctly, because I remember hearing it at the show and being blown away at how well executed it was.
Yeah.
At the show itself. So I thought it was great. I think this is a killer song. Yeah, one of the best ballads of the time. Period. Not
And
just a
rumored to
Kiss
be Eric
song.
Singer.
What's that?
Rumored to be Eric Singer. Eric Singer playing the drums on this one too.
Yeah.
Strange thing.
You know why I don't agree with that rumor? Just because Eric Singer is a very he has a certain style that he plays in. There's a lot of triplets, a lot of quadruplets, a lot of work on the foot. There's not a whole lot of that in this song, but when he gets into Kiss proper, there is a lot of that he plays live. So to me as a drummer, this song never sounded like Eric Singer to me.
Unless they just said play like a certain style when you're being hired versus when, okay, now you're in the band, you can play how you want.
You could be absolutely right, but there are definitely different styles of drumming on this record that don't sound like Eric Carr. But this one sounds like Eric Carr, my opinion.
Okay.
I also love the outro of the song, and there's that drum hit at the very end.
Yep.
It's great. It's great. Killer song. Play all day for me. Love it.
Play all day. Yeah.
Yeah. Play.
Agreed across the board. Andrew, play.
Andrew has not said.
Yeah, play.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
I wasn't born with a silver spoon.
Oh my God! You don't like Silver Spoon?
Whoa.
I think Silver Spoon is one of the best songs on the record.
I agree. Play.
Oh. Okay. Wow. I thought you were going.
No,
Nicholas.
I love Silver Spoon. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Nicholas?
I'm trying to remember it.
Nicholas hasn't heard Kiss post 1981, so
Yeah, Nicholas actually isn't a Kiss fan.
No.
That's what I get accused of. So it's good to have somebody who dislikes Kiss.
That's what I was going to show
my.
my new Kiss merchandise I bought.
yeah.
Speaking of Silver Spoon, here's a Freddie Mercury pop figure.
Yeah. He used to spoon the cocaine out. No,
I was just going to say that this is a great cocaine reference for you, Nicholas.
Yeah, exactly.
Silver Spoons play all day for me.
Me too. Great Paul Stanley vocal.
Yep.
Cool stuff. Are we all play on this one, Andrew?
Yes, I just wanted to tell a quick story about it. It was a skip for me listening to the actual album. But once I got the box set, and this was on the box set, I was like, oh, this is not bad. So definitely a play for me.
Do I remember right? Did you revisit this record at some point, Andrew, and go, that's not as bad as I thought it was? Or am I wrong on that?
No, you're absolutely correct on it, because there's a lot of vitriol that follows this record around. And there are certain points where the entire 80s catalog was ignored by me. And then
you know what I find interesting, Andrew, is, I got into Kiss around the same age, just slightly younger than you. And, of course, at a different time period. But because of my immersion into the band at such an age, everything was great to me. And that's why I have the opinion that I have, is because I wasn't old enough, really, to say, this song sucks. To me, it was Kiss, and it was all great, at 4 and 5 years old. So I don't understand how you can be 5 years old and listen to Hot in the Shade, unless you didn't listen to it when you were 5 years old, and listen to Hot in the Shade and not just love everything on it.
No, see, here's the thing. As a 5-year-old, I saw Rise to It, and I thought that was the new Kiss video, and then they played I Love It Loud right after it, and I thought that was the new Kiss. I had no concept of what songs were on albums. I had no concept. So when I say I listened to Hot in the Shade, I mean I listened to it in like 1999 or 2000.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, that makes a whole difference.
But there absolutely were songs that I didn't like. Songs like Plaster Caster and those are songs that I definitely hit fast forward on the tape, because it wasn't Love Gun, it wasn't I Want You, I didn't have any visual representation of the song.
Interesting. So all right, Ed, so it's 3 plays on Silver Spoon, and Nicholas doesn't recall.
Nicholas has no idea what we're talking about.
Thanks for playing, Nicholas. We appreciate it.
All right, next up.
We're gonna skip or play this podcast. Yeah.
Skip.
Cadillac Dreams. Jason Herndon. I mean, come on.
I would probably skip Cadillac Dreams.
Yeah. Money.
Hey, he does remember.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like you're in the therapist office.
I never wanted to revisit this album.
Yeah.
Joe, skip or play?
Total skip. Yeah.
Total skip.
Brutal.
Andrew?
Yeah.
My
skip.
God, I can't skip this fast enough. This song sucks.
Nicholas skips the rest of the album.
Yeah, skip. No. There's some good stuff coming up. There's some gold.
Okay.
What I can see. Oh wait, well, sorry, I've just jumped to Revenge. Sorry. No gold. No, sorry.
Unholy is a great song.
Revenge was the.
I've just skipped to a Vinnie Vincent song. It's good.
Yeah.
How about King of Hearts? It's back to Paul Stanley song. So here's what I'll say about this song. Again, I think Paul's vocals at this time were top notch across the board.
Yeah.
So I think the vocals on this song are amazing.
I think I would play this. I really like the verses in this song a lot, but that's just me.
Yeah, kind of cheesy, kind of trite.
Skip.
Yeah, the whole record's cheesy. So
yeah. I like his vocals on this one. I remember this one.
Skip.
Skip for you, Joe.
That's how Nicholas gauges this record. I remember this song.
so
I can actually hum this one.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. I've listened to it, and the ones I remember, they obviously made an impression on me. The ones I don't remember,
listened to it once.
Surely not.
So, Joe, when you put this record on for the first time in 1989, were you going, what is this?
I really don't have much recollection. I bet I didn't listen to this record much at the time. I think I put it on. It was kind of like, I remember clearly Rise to It, Hide Your Heart, and Forever. After that, I mean, there's some other songs that I do like. Like I do like Silver Spoon on the record, like we've talked about. So I remember some of those songs, but this was definitely not in heavy rotation at the time because I was a hard rock and metal guy at the time,
right?
And I would not have been listening to this record.
I was in Injustice for All at this time, so there's no way I would be listening to this.
Yeah, I've had this discussion with Nicholas before because he's none of the 80s metal or hair bands, so he was never into any of that stuff. He went from speed metal to grunge, and just skip this whole thing.
Miss that whole lot, yeah.
Right, missed the whole thing. But I have a vivid memory of going to a record store about 45 minutes from me called Xanadu and buying this on vinyl and bringing it home and putting it on the record player. And I can remember sitting there playing it over and over, side one, side two. To me, it was the new Kiss, and I loved it. And that's why I have a hard time,
See, I think like it's weird because I didn't like apart from remembering Rise to it. It was really Bill and Ted's came out with God Gave Rock and Roll to You,
right? Then
into Revenge, and then I was just absolutely hooked into the really old stuff. So it was almost like this was it sounds weird to say because we're the same age, but this was before my time. In terms of me getting into Kiss, I was aware of it, but it was.
Yeah. Here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do, Jason. I want you to play this record, or just play the CD, whatever you want, and I want you to start cleaning your room as this is on. And every time you got
that joke is getting old.
No, and every time you got to stop to change the song, you'll realize that you stop it a lot.
Yeah, I guarantee you I will. So I listened to Hot in the Shade today. So
what's interesting is asking that question about what did I think about the record at the time. I remember Crazy Nights way more than I remember this. However, I remember going and getting this single at the record store, and the single I think it was it Rise to It backed with No No No? Is that right? The 45.
Rise to It backed with No No No.
Let me check.
Sorry. No. I'm thinking about sorry, I'm confused. Crazy Nights back with No No No. I remember going and getting that at the record store, but I have no recollection of going to get Hot in the Shade at the record store. So Crazy Nights is like burned in my memory. That I remember for sure. This thing just kind of went a glimmering for me. So
interesting. Yeah. All right, what's up next?
So we were on King of Hearts. The street giveth and the street taketh away.
It was co-written by Shakespeare, by William Shakespeare as well.
who interestingly enough was a jazz artist.
Yes. Ye oldie street giveth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey,
I'll
man.
go first on this one. I love it.
I remember this one.
You too.
I play it. I think it's a great song.
Thank God.
I don't mind it, actually. Yeah, I remember this one. Yeah.
I love the acoustic.
Skip it. This song sucks. Skip it.
So do you, Andrew, but that's all right.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you wish somebody would taketh it away.
Yeah, I wish someone would taketh away this song. Who co-wrote this with Gene Simmons?
Tommy Thayer already said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
good job.
And apparently Shakespeare.
Tommy redeemed himself from early.
Simmons, Thayer, and Shakespeare.
Yeah. It's not as strange as Simmons and Dylan around the same time. So.
No kidding, right? So we're all we got 3 plays on that, and Andrew is a skip.
Yeah.
3 plays and a skip. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's
you
up?
love me to hate you.
I love this song. My favorite song on the album.
My favorite song on the album.
It's great.
It goes back. It goes back to Paul's kind of Crazy Nights acrobatic vocals, right? I love this song. I think it's great. Yeah.
Although I think
he kind of harmonizes with himself in that high vocal range.
Yes.
It's really cool. I love it.
It's clear. It's clear though. Around this, I think a year earlier, or maybe the same year, probably a year earlier, you get Desmond Child co-writing. What was the Joan Jett song? I Hate Myself for Loving You. I Hate Myself for Loving You, co-written by Desmond Child. This is a Desmond Child co-write. You Love Me to Hate You. I think, you got a very, stolen premise there, or borrowed premise from himself. And, I don't know how many people put those two things together, but as soon as I saw that co-write.
Interesting. Interesting. Never gave it a thought, but that's, interesting tie in there. So I think it's a good song. Andrew, you hate this one too?
No, I actually really like this one. This is one of my favorite choruses on the record. So
yes,
it's stuck in my head most of anything. So this is a play for me. I like this one a lot.
It's my favorite song on the record, and it's clearly a drum machine.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
clearly a drum machine. I don't even think there's a cymbal on the whole thing. So,
so I say you'd imagine this could even just be a Paul demo track. I
guarantee.
Is there a guitar solo? Probably just be Bruce overdubbing it or something.
All right. I'm glad y'all like that because I really love that song, and I figured all 3 of you were going to be coming in and going, "This is
like
garbage."
this song. I like the song. Don't Like You.
So next, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell.
That's where I store this album. Between the Black Sabbath albums, I don't listen to it. It's somewhere between Heaven and Hell and Never Say Die. I just stick it in there.
Nicholas, I would say we've missed you on the show, but that would be a complete lie.
I'm stalling for the fact that, AKA, I don't remember this one.
Do you know when the first time I heard this song was? There is
1999.
No, the year 2000 actually, and I know exactly when I heard it for the first time because during that farewell tour introspective video that played before the farewell before they descended from the stage in Phoenix, Arizona, I heard a little blip of the songs. They were talking about Hot in the Shade, and I go, man, what song is that? I like this song. I really do.
I like this song too.
I like this song a lot.
So I'm gonna play on this.
Me too. Play.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll go play on this one. This one kind of harkens back to some of like Good Girl Gone Bad, Thief in the Night. It's got that kind of like, I don't know, dusky kind of feel to it. And it's got like kind of a groove, and it's Gene kind of not screaming, and it's got that kind of easier vocal to it. I like it. I think it's all right.
Those two tracks on Crazy Nights, Hell or High Water and Good Girl Gone Bad, are two of my favorite Gene 80s tracks ever made. I love that he doesn't use the gravelly voice. I love his smooth voice.
Yeah.
And I think they're just well executed songs. So.
Yep. After Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell, we go to Little Caesar. Eric Carr vocals.
Delicious.
Listen, ain't no one messing with you.
I skipped this song.
I love this song. This is one of my favorites.
I got to tell you, I think this might be my favorite song on the record.
Really?
I love this song.
Love it.
I think it's great. I think it kind of goes back to that chest thumping kind of, believe in yourself kind of thing. I think it's really cool. I actually wish that Eric wouldn't have sung it on this record. I wish somebody else would have taken the reins on it, because it kind of almost seems like a throw in. All right, we'll give Eric a song kind of a thing. I wish that, I don't know, maybe Gene would have sung this one. But I think it's a great
Gene's
song.
lyrics, isn't it?
It was completely rewrote the song with the melody.
But I must say, what was the original one called again? I forget. It's on the box set. It's called
Ain't That Peculiar.
Ain't That Peculiar.
Yeah, but then Ain't That Peculiar's lyrics are
yes.
Eric's ripped them off some old soul song.
That's correct.
I remember hearing it once and going, "This is the same as that demo." Like
That's
they had to
exactly
change
right.
it.
And there's an additional version on the Eric Carr Unfinished Business CD. So if you check that out, purchase from ericcarr.com.
Yeah.
I love this song. This is a play for me. But I'm a huge Eric Carr fan. Bigger Eric Carr fan than Peter Criss. Nothing against Peter Criss. Something about Eric Carr. I always loved that drum sound and the way his drums looked and I loved Eric Carr. I really did.
I think he was cool. He started off great, but after about 1984, it could have been any drummer. I felt like Eric's drums, Animalize, Asylum, Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade. I didn't think there was anything about any of the drum parts that ever stood out again. But Creatures and Lick It Up Here. I don't know.
Talking about
it just seemed like every other drummer.
Talking about his live solos where he's like incorporating all the melody into his drum solos.
Yeah, live. Yeah, no, you're right, live.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. But I mean, I think a lot of these 80s records suffer from a lot of drummers just playing for the song and not really doing anything that was, incredibly, memorable. I think a lot of these drummers are like that. I mean, you had Cozy Powell that did Cinderella demos, and they thought, "Oh, Cozy Powell, you're not good enough to play on Cinderella." Cozy Powell. Let's be real on that. So I think it was just a sign of the times that they really a lot of these bands were just very guitar driven. So the drums were just like, keep a beat, make it sound.
Say
good.
that statement again. Cozy Powell did play on the first Cinderella album.
But there are demos that Cozy Powell played on for, I think it was Long Cold Winter, or it was, I had them as either Long Cold Winter or...
No. Cozy Powell played on Long Cold Winter. That's what he played on.
But there are additional demos for Heartbreak Station, Still Climbing, that they deemed that he wasn't good enough to play on those.
I don't know.
Was he a member of the band?
No, he was a studio drummer.
Studio drummer. Cozy Powell was a very, very famous drummer. Where did he get his start? He wasn't in Black Oak, Arkansas. That was still Tommy Aldridge, right?
That's Tommy Aldridge. Yeah.
But he did a lot. He played in played with a lot of the same artists. Cozy Powell did.
Brian May Band. He ended up in.
I don't know if that story is correct in your recollection, Andrew. I think there's a lot more to that Cinderella story than you think. I know Fred Curry, and the fact that they were deeming him, it wasn't that they were deeming Fred Curry not good enough to play on the first of all, Night Songs was recorded before Fred was in the band.
They took the picture with him in the band, so I knew that.
And then the producer wanted to use Cozy Powell on Long Cold Winter. That's why Fred didn't play on it. Mm-hmm. And then the band wanted to use Fred on because he helped co-engineer Heartbreak Station. Yeah, I've been in his house. He has an engineering award for the album. So
this happens a lot. I mean, it even happened to Kiss with like Eric joins Kiss and does that great tour with thunderous drum solo, and all of a sudden he's being replaced by Alan Schwartzman in the studio for I because somehow Eric Carr can't nail I. Like they do this all the time. They've obviously got their mates who go, I reckon this guy can play it. And
it might not even be a thing where, hey, this guy can't do it. It might be I'm in the studio at 2 a.m. and we need a drum track. What do we have, kind of a thing? Who knows what kind of decisions are being made all over the board versus deadlines versus studio time versus I'm not going to wait for this guy to come down to the studio. We're going to burn 3 hours of time trying to find him. Mm-hmm. So let's put in a drum track or whatever, or who's in the studio now that we can get to play, I can get this guy on the phone. He can be up here in 15 minutes or whatever it is. Right. So it might not even be an aesthetic choice. It might be a time and money
production
choice. Production choice for sure. Before we wrap this up, we haven't talked about the tour book, which
yes.
This is one of those massive...
One of the oversized.
One of the oversized ones that when you got it at the show, you're like, geez, I got to carry this thing around with me for the rest of the night, and they'd get beat up as you go. So
I still need it.
It's huge, this thing,
But check this out. I mean, this...
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that you're even going to be able to see on camera, but man, this thing is massive and cool.
I was in third row center in Nashville for that tour. I was 16.
Do any of you know when the tour book went on sale?
I do not.
No, but we're dying for you to tell us.
Was that sarcasm?
Seriously.
It was.
Anyway,
but
so
you're going to go ahead anyway.
There is there's a concert, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 1990, and I guess the guy who shot one of the angles from Fort Wayne, Indiana, 1990, shot some footage of him talking to Paul after the show, and Paul clearly says in this, "Hey, yeah, the tour book is going to be on sale next week in Cleveland."
Oh wow!
So very, very
so
cool.
how many dates had they run at that point? Do we know? Is it deep into the tour or is it?
I don't
very
think
it
so.
can't be deep.
It's not. It's not that deep. Let me just check on kissmonster.com, run by the great Julian Gill.
So are all these live photos in here? These are all from the Hot in the Shade tour, aren't they?
Yes.
So they've obviously had enough time to shoot them, or at least at a rehearsal.
Super early. So, the Cleveland show.
There's a real crowd in there, so it's not just a rehearsal.
Yep. So, the Cleveland show. Hold on, let me just. So maybe he was incorrect. Wait, hold on.
Cleveland's like the next to the last.
It can't be. Oh, excuse me. So Cleveland. All right, I apologize. I was just misreading that because they never listed as Cleveland. They listed as Richfield Coliseum, which is Richfield, Ohio, which is still Cleveland. So that was June 9th, which is which is just a little over a month into the tour.
That makes sense because that, like Nicholas was pointing out, they have live shots in there that are clearly really live, and you take those shots and you got to lay it out and print it and get it shipped to you. So that a month sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a quality cut, as Joe will see. There's a quality cut out of the Sphinx's head over this logo here. Pretty terrible. It's probably pretty good for 1990.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the last song, skip or play.
Oh, where did we get to with Little Caesar? That was good.
I'm skipping Little Caesar.
That was play.
Jason is skipping Little Caesar, which is crazy.
Yeah, Jason loves everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boomerang.
What about the pizza train?
Pizza.
Yeah.
I prefer Pizza Hut.
There was
to Little Caesar.
Listen, there was like
that was the original lyrics was called Pizza Hut.
There was a little video about Little Caesars because the pizza wasn't very good there, but they're like, dude, but it's hot and ready. I don't care. The pizza's not good. It's not good, but it is hot and ready right now. So like, all right, I guess if it's hot and ready.
I remember working at McDonald's, and you had to say to them, "Oh, it'll be ready in." I think what did we say? I'd have to say, "The burger will be ready in 90 seconds," because that sounded faster than if you said a minute and a half. They go, "Stuff that, I'm leaving." You know, like, can't wait a minute and a half.
But this is hot and ready.
Exactly.
Here in the U.S., used to go through. McDonald's started putting those timers in the drive-thru. And if you don't have your meal within this amount of time and it was counting down as you were sitting in the drive-thru, you get it for free or something. Well, they quickly did away with that.
Yeah, because there's not enough pressure on these poor fast food kids, right? With the big timer in the back going, click, click, click.
Yeah, as the timer's going, they're hitting puberty. They're like, oh my God, their voice is literally dropping.
What do we do? Somebody throw a burger out the window. We're all fired. Click.
I don't know what happened there, but you could get free food from McDonald's.
Clicks get higher and higher.
Yeah.
Just give them something.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Boomerang, skip.
Boomerang.
Oh my God, easy
Boomerang.
skip. Easy
G'day.
skip.
Yeah.
The Aussie song.
What an Aussie song.
Yeah, it's because it sucks.
Yeah.
Oh God. Thanks, man. Just
This was
alienated.
written by Gene and Aboriginal elders.
Why
Aboriginal.
Originally written on didgeridoo.
Yeah, exactly. They hired Jamiroquai. This is a terrible. This is one of those terrible ones like no, isn't it? It's just
oh my
like
God,
yes.
yeah.
it's terrible.
No is so bad that as they were writing this song, they're like, no, it can't go like that. No, it can't go like that. They were just like, wait, that's a song.
Actually, see, because I really remember this one really well because I remember thinking this is the single worst Kiss song in their entire catalogue. I remember hearing it at the time. Actually, the reason I heard it is because Pod of Thunder, they do an episode a week, and Boomerang is one of the worst things I've ever heard, possibly. So it was a weird way to end it.
How do you spend an entire episode on Boomerang?
They probably talk about McDonald's and
right.
and that for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and they break. But remember, they just play a bit of the song, then they talk, then they play the next bit and talk through it. It's very funny. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I know they're great. They were great. I just don't. It's just baffling how you.
No, but they're the best episodes. The ones that are the worse the song, the funnier the episodes.
Yeah, my favorite episode. I
look forward to the bad ones.
My favorite episode of theirs is when they were talking about the reviews of a certain hotel that the Indianapolis Kiss Expo was being held at.
Yeah, that's amazing. So they're just reading all the Yelp reviews.
Well, they were just...
There's like floating pizza in the hot tub, and it was awesome. They did 3 episodes on the Yelp.
Full episodes on that, and there's just like this heavy metal music playing in the background, and they're reading these bad reviews.
It's that it's the Vinnie Vincent song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like some Speedball Jam song.
Speedball Jam. It's got on loop, so it starts driving you insane. It's very
man.
It's so funny that at the time that this expo was booked, like Steve and Keith were like, "Please don't stay at this hotel. Go stay elsewhere."
Oh man, that Vinnie Vincent stuff. When I went to the Atlanta Expo, and I think '96 maybe. Vinny, part of his demand was you had to play. Was it Euphoria that was out? It had like 5 tracks on it or something like that. You had to play that the entire expo, 12 hours, non-stop on the loudspeaker. People were losing their mind. They would.
It's like a hostage situation, right? It's like the way that they get people to confess all their sins is to put them in a dark room, and just play Euphoria or Speedball Jam over and over again. Yeah.
There's no vocals on it, is it? It's just
no.
It's just Vinny wanging.
It's just right.
Oh
man,
it's terrible.
It was horrible.
It is terrible.
So Boomerang.
Skip.
So that's it. Hot in the Shade. Skip or play. Thank you, FAQ, for the idea.
Yeah.
first and last time we'll be doing this, apparently.
No, that was fun.
Thanks for playing. No, I think it can be cool, especially for these records where there's not a lot of collectibles to talk about.
Yes.
Not a lot of vinyl to talk about. I think it's a good way to sort of talk about the record and give it some justice and give it some due. So there you have it.
There's just one more thing I want to mention about this record. This CD was never in the remastered collection. So
that's correct.
Yeah, never.
Yep,
There's actually a fan remaster out there that's actually pretty good. I've put that in my iTunes versus the actual CD version.
I know that iTunes did remasters a while back too. Did they not do Hot in the Shade as well?
I'm not sure because
not sure
Remember
either.
the iTunes thing? It was mastered for iTunes.
Right,
So
that's what I mean.
I'm not gonna download something that's just clearly worse than the CD that I have.
Right. So I didn't know.
So do we think as a group, if you were to take maybe 8 songs off this record or 9 songs off this record, and the band were to get in the studio at the time, record it live, we'll do it live, and it's a much rawer version. Do you think this could be a good record?
Yes. Here's what I would do, because I'm glad you mentioned that. What I would do is I would keep Rise to It, Betrayed, Hide Your Heart, Silver Spoon, Forever, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell, and then Love You and You Love Me to Hate You, and then I would put Eyes of Love from Eric Carr, and then I would do Sword and Stone.
That was Crazy Nights, though.
But Hide Your Heart also predated this record too. But
that's true.
I would stick other things on there. I put Juice on there. I put Juice, Nothing to Lose, then Black Diamond, then Firehouse. And it's a great record.
It's a great.
But anyway, I would do that, and I think that would.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, Sword and Stone should have definitely.
Yeah.
Sword and Stone should have definitely ended up on
Eyes of Love.
One of those.
Eyes of Love is awesome.
It's a good song.
Even
Eyes of
Nightmare
Love?
is awesome.
Eyes of
I
Love,
love
not
Nightmare. I love Nightmare.
Are you saying Eyes of Love or Ice of Love?
Eyes of Love. Do you not have Eric Carr Rockology? Are you
No.
even a Kiss fan? Do you actually like
No.
Kiss's music, or do you just
He's
like
a Kiss. He's a Kiss fan to 1982.
or do you just like the trinkets? He's like trinkets, yes. Music, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should see how he treats his precious vinyl.
Yeah. I loved Revenge when it came out. That was awesome.
As for Kiss songs, is that a keychain?
Yeah.
Ooh, shiny.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us as we goof around. That was fun. I enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it too.
One last thing. This is what I wanted to ask, because you guys might know more about this. Wasn't it around this era where there was some attempt to do a reunion tour with Ace, and Peter was never going to be invited, but it was going to be Ace and Eric?
That
isn't that some rumor?
Yeah, you are correct. Yeah. And adding fuel to the fire, when Ace played the Limelight in New York City, Gina Paul showed up and did Deuce.
Correct.
Ace.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember John Regan wouldn't let Gene play bass.
That's right. Yeah. You get your own bass.
Get your own bass.
Yeah. So
as for Hot in the Shade, Deuce is a great song. So let's wrap it up there. Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
And
All
we'll
right.
see you on the next.
Hey, why does everybody beat me to that now?
Because you forget everything unless you have like a list next to you.
I'm not forgetting anything. Y'all just beat me to it. We'll see you on the next one.